Wagwan, Wagwan. It's the 1878 Casuals. You know how we do it. Brought to you by Moo Mia and Terrace Cult USA. I got my man Bad Face and back for the first time in a long time. The one and only Patch the Lad. All right, boys. So Barcelona on Thursday. Could have nicked it. Got Leicester on Sunday. How are we feeling?
Barcelona game yesterday was a really good game. Some fine football. Could have and should have nicked it, but we said that a few times this season. If we had I don't want to talk shit about Veghorst because I know he works his bollocks off, but you got to score. And Sancho also had one he should have scored. It is a little cause for concern at the moment that if it weren't for Rashford, we would have won a lot less of these games especially since after the World Cup. So, with the introduction of a hopefully not, I don't want to say proper striker, but proper striker uh, in the summer, I think that a lot of those draws and potentially losses turn into W's. So, but yeah, it was a good game and lots to be proud of from the lads. On Sunday against Leicester, Leicester just did Spurs last weekend 4-1. So, is that cause for concern? No, not really, because I think Spurs are shit this season and as inconsistent as it gets. And I just think we're playing too well right now to really be bothered. But Leicester will give us a game.
And they're better right now than we played the last time we played them. This is not the same team that's like at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, exactly. So on paper, should be a W. I think we've definitely got enough to win it, but stranger things have happened. So, but especially now that we don't have Casemiro for Sunday. That's his last game. He's serving his suspension. I don't know who else we'll have back. I didn't even I knew Anthony was injured, but I didn't know the extent of it. I guess it's enough to keep him out for about a month. So I don't know if we'll see him on Sunday. Should have Martinez back. Should have Sabitzer back. Should have the full squad minus Casemiro and obviously Eriksen, and maybe even Anthony. But again, good enough squad to win. So on paper should be a win. So that's kind of what I'm expecting.
It's got to be the same, more or less the same lineup as it was on Thursday, right? Face minus Casemiro, probably Sabitzer comes, probably Sabitzer Fred again.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to do something different with the back. I think he's going to bring back Martinez in the fold to get him going, have Varane, put Shaw back to the left, and bring in Delo. I think Delo needs to get some games going. We he had a stinker, then Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Almost fell into old habits.
He didn't have a stinker, but we need goals out of that now. We need goals out of that. So I definitely feel that back four is going to be a change. I truly think he's going to go with the same thing where he's going to drop Wood into that 10. But this time, bring in Garnacho and take Sancho out for a little bit, not to punish him, but let's get Garnacho going. And Rashi and Bruno is going to end up on the right. See, what he did was crazy. Wood is dropping into 10, and like we said, he's not scoring, so he's utilizing his abilities to do link-up play, pass the ball, and press. Bandita asked me last video, did I believe having Bruno on the right takes away from his abilities? I said, no, because Bruno's so active, he's going to find a way to do something. And he makes him a better presser up there on that right. I don't care what you say, Bruno presses the hell out of it, and he has a right cross.
I think Bruno can play anywhere.
Yeah, I think
he's total footballer, right? Total footballer.
Yeah,
total footballer. And it doesn't hurt us. What I heard today about Anthony Patch, boss said that we will see how he's doing in training today and tomorrow. But he'll probably, he'll travel. If it was a traveling team, he would travel. but he said that I think it was Anthony. It was Anthony and not Marshall, maybe Scotty. He's seeing how they practice. So let's say they're not going to play, knowing our boss, because he's very careful about injuries. So
yeah, save until next weekend.
I feel what you're saying, Sinatra, but I think the back four definitely will get changed. Just because Martinez has been sitting down, we need to get the butcher going. You feel me?
So do you think Shaw gets a rest? Because Malacia, he looked strong Thursday. Or do you think Shaw gets his place right back at the left back spot?
It's still Premier League, bro. It's still Premier League. We got to win. Don't be surprised, though. I'm going to piss y'all off. Watch out for Slabby getting a holler and resting Varane for the next Barcelona match.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
So
and
you
Varane,
know what?
He had a job against Lewandowski, didn't he? But he blanked him.
So to answer your question, yeah, there might be some changes. I think it would be some changes. Just to rest guys, though. We got Barca Thursday. Slabby should be okay. Slabby should be all right.
Important cup final Sunday. Don't forget.
That's true too. So two big games next week. I mean, which one does I mean, Ten Hag's gonna swing for the fences on both of them. You know what I mean?
I don't blame him.
I'm extremely excited.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think he should, and I don't blame him either for wanting to win. I mean, Thursday determines if we go forward in the Europa League. Sunday determines, Sunday would be huge if we can pull that off. But something tells me Newcastle is going to be fucking tough because this is what their first chance at silverware in how long. And
yeah,
I don't know if it's at home or away or if it's in neutral. It's Wembley, isn't it?
It's Wembley.
Yeah, Wembley.
Okay.
Wembley.
So
it's home. It's home. It's home.
Right. It's the home we haven't visited in a little bit.
Listen, the last time Newcastle was in a final, and we got a whole other video to do about Newcastle next week, but the last time they were in a final, it was the old Wembley with the two towers. That was the last time they were in a final.
Exactly. So they're gonna play like it. First silverware of the season, or try to progress in the Europa League where we need it because it's silverware, but we don't really need it because we're probably going to get top four. You know what I mean? So half of the reason you want to win Europa League is so you can be in the Champions League, which we're probably already are going to be, but it's also a bigger cup than the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. It's like, Champions League, Premier League, Europa League. So it's like, it's one of the top three trophies, albeit the lower part of the ladder of the three, but still, I mean.
And we need redemption from the 2021 final, right? So here's another point. Back to Leicester. Here's another point. So the race in the Premier League is getting tight up at the top. The Gunners are doing what we thought they would do. They're doing an Arsenal and dropping some points.
Yep, having a wobble. Yeah.
They're having a wobble. And so, a win for us tomorrow, another 3 points tomorrow keeps us on track right there at the top. And a lot of people are talking about Manchester United a lot. Even Gary Neville's writing us off on a title challenge. But when you're, within, 3 to 5 points off the top of the table, that's a fucking title race. I don't care what that's a motherfucking title race. Pardon my language. Title race.
I mean, I feel like out of the teams in the top four right now, we are playing the best, and we are on the best run.
At least post World Cup for sure.
Yeah, and Newcastle's got like 11 draws or something like that. They got a lot. Oh
yeah,
draws.
They're going for the record. Yeah, one loss in the fucking in the league. 11 draws.
It's still kind of anybody's league when you think about, even I think top three, I think it's us, City, or Arsenal. Maybe Newcastle's getting a whiff. So it's like us four are really chasing the title, which is cool because normally by this point it'd be like, oh yeah, City's like 13 points clear. They score 9 goals in every game. Like nobody's catching them. Like there's been too many years where we say like, oh yeah, no one's catching City.
How refreshing is it to actually have a title race face?
Well, Definitely. Oh yeah, it's peak. I love it. Listen, I cannot wait to see Casemiro, Sabitzer play together and the work rate that we're going to see and the tackling we're going to have with them two cunts playing together. I'm still sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I hate the C word. My mom said that. She goes, it makes me cringe, a cringy word. I cringe. Okay. Anyway, I'm telling you, we got another gear for everybody. We got another gear. We have another gear for everybody. And I think it's gonna be petrol. It's gonna be nitrous. They're gonna be like, listen, we just bossed Barcelona with Woot, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Malacia. Shaw played at the center back. Fred was a beast. Look, so we're about to say, okay, welcome back, Sabitzer, Casemiro play together. Anthony, how you feel, Poppy? You want to dance? It's going to be crazy again. It's going to be crazy. I'm so excited to see Ten Hag, and I love his one game at a time mentality. It's just this game that matters that we play right now. I love it.
That's probably why we've been so successful, in all honesty. But you brought up another point that I wanted to talk about from the Barcelona game. That like you said, we were bossing Barcelona with Weghorst and Rashford and Sancho, and we didn't really make a lot of substitutions either. Like we didn't see Garnacho come on till way late. What was it, like the 75th, 80th minute when he finally actually came on? So do we think because we didn't substitute as much, will we be making more subs in this Leicester game, especially if we're up maybe 2 goals, 3 goals? Do we see Palestri finally? Because I was interested that we didn't make that move against Barcelona. We're still taking our time with guys like Palestri. Manu hasn't gotten back out there again. He's still taking his time with a lot of these younger cats that are having to make up the bench while Ericsson and Martial and some of these other guys are injured or suspended or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think that, well, first of all, Garnacho is a good sub to bring on. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the 75th, 80th minute substitutions and stuff when you're trying to win a game. Because I feel like you need a little more time than that. To me, 60, 65 minutes makes more sense. But at the same time, and maybe I'm wrong here, bringing on somebody like Garnacho who has that turn of pace and who has that skill set that he's got and stuff like that, you get a chance for him to warm up to the game and maybe nick one. And by the time he nicks one, there's not enough time to try to nick one back for the opposition. A game like Barcelona, I mean, any game could use a player like Garnacho or Palistri with their, speed and their obvious skill set. And I could be wrong. I'm kind of blanking right now, but is this maybe Garnacho's sort of Europa League debut? Not this past game, but this season. Or am I wrong?
Yeah. This is he made his full debut this year.
So he's not played Champions League.
No, last season he was playing in the FA Youth Cup. He was on the FA Youth Cup winning team.
Okay, so it's kind of a big step for him. It's a bigger stage. You know what I mean?
Maybe Barcelona might as well be playing like even Xavi was saying in his post game interview. I don't know if any of you caught that, but he was like, "Listen, like the next couple of years, this is a Champions League semifinal, final,
exactly,
quarterfinal,
Yeah, so you got to think that perhaps Ten Hag had that idea in the back of his head too. I mean, especially it's one thing to play in the Europa League against like PSV or something like that in the Netherlands, or you play at the fucking Camp Nou in Barcelona in front of mental fans. So I mean, we obviously don't know, but perhaps he was just been kind of, protecting Garnacho and some of these kids and younger players that have never had this sort of, that's quite possibly the biggest stage that Garnacho has played on so far as a United player. I could be wrong, but something tells me that if it's not the biggest, it's definitely up there. I mean, it's you play at the Bernabeu, you play it, Dortmund, you play it yeah, you play at Bayern Munich Stadium. Like those are all massive stadiums with loads of history, loads of crazy fans, you know, probably more people watching those games than watching United against PSV. So again, you got to think that a game like that, registers in Ten Hag's mind that he's got to slowly integrate players like Pellistri and Garnacho and these younger players that are not as knowledgeable on a stage like this. So to bring him on at the 75th minute or whenever it was makes sense.
Anyway, you brought up another good point. That playing a big game like Barcelona, and now we hear potentially the Super League is creeping up again, and we'll probably do another video just dedicated to that. But we're still all in agreement. Even an 80-team Super League, like that, it's all bollocks, right?
Yeah, we just got to protest again. We got to get that going again. If they bring that shit up, we protesting. All clubs, all supporters need to unify. Let's get back to protesting, burning this shit down. We're not having it. That's all I feel on it.
I just wonder if I wonder what the potential new owners are going to say about it. I mean, is that going to be written into the contract when you're buying the club? You have to participate in the Super League. Maybe that's a crazy question, but I mean, I definitely think it's worth.
I don't think there's any contract. I don't think there's any contract stated specifically, but the Glazers were in with these other, like Florentino Perez at Real Madrid, and some of these other owners. They were conspiring. So it makes you wonder if we were to get like a Sheik or Amazon or Google or whoever the hell else wants to buy Trump.
But don't you think it's Spain-driven clubs doing the Super League?
Well, I think that's part of it, but I think PSG is also in it because it's undeniable that in England they're making the most money. Like the Premier League is the Super League, right? Like those are the teams making the top money. Those are the teams making the most television money. Like nobody cares about the French league, except in France, right? Like no one's going to watch Rennes play Nice. No one's watching Bordeaux playing Lyon. Like nobody gives a shit. If it's not PSG, especially nowadays, nobody gives a shit. And PSG knows it. The teams in Spain know it because nobody's watching Villarreal playing Real Zaragoza. You know what I mean? So I feel like some of these smaller countries, Germany, Bayern Munich's probably in the same boat where these teams that dominate these leagues and they're spending more money than they're bringing in to compete now with England, they've got to figure out something. Because if they keep the model that they've got going now, they're going to collapse. Like how much debt? It's like $1.5 billion of debt that Barcelona's in right now because their wage bill has been insane. Their spending has been insane for the past 10 years.
You know what the worst part about the PSG thing is? They just became little brother to Qatar. Like, fuck PSG. Oh, yeah. They like, fuck them.
Well, that's what people don't realize.
This is where it's at. This is the club with history.
It's interesting if you watch, and I haven't, finished it all the way through, but the Super League series that they have on Apple TV Plus, the guy with the deepest pockets in the room is the sheik that owns PSG. Like that guy's got more money than City. He's got more money than fucking Spain. All the teams in Spain, all the teams in France, and all the teams in Germany combined. Like that's how much money that guy's got. And everybody's just kind of ignoring PSG because they don't have the history or the presence that some of these other clubs have. But boy, they're in it.
Yeah, and English brought up a good point actually, because there are some people that are kind of gassed over the Qatari bid. Same type of people own PSG, and look how piss poor they are run. The lunatics are running the asylum over there.
Yeah.
And is that the sort of thing that we would see at United? Should Qatari owner come in and successfully purchase the club? Is he just going to be like, I'll just pump money into it? Like, here you go, children. Just fucking fuck around in the playroom. Here's a shitload of toys. Do whatever you want. Instead of having some sort of sensical structure and whatever disciplinary or whatever, to the point where it's Ten Hag and the football people and all the people they appoint or whatever are allowed to do what they got to do. And the owners of the club are just people that are just going, hey, here, oh, you need the parents going, oh, you need $20 for lunch today. Here you go. And then just like letting the people that know the shit do their thing, because that's been the problem the whole time with the Glazers, hasn't it? It's like all these fucking idiots that they hire don't know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to football, but yet they're the ones making all the decisions when it comes to football.
As far as the potential new ownership coming in, and we'll have to do a whole other video with us on just that topic specifically, but something that hasn't been really brought up a lot that I'm interested to get your take on. So let's just say we get, Google, or more than likely this Qatari bid is the one that's going to be successful, not Sir Ratcliffe. We're sorry, Sir Jim. Get your money right, Jim. We're all cheering for you. But more than likely it's going to be this Qatari bid that's successful. So say they come in and, Ten Hag's doing the business right now, right? He's bringing us success. He's turned the ship around, and we're churning in the right direction. But what say they come in and they start running it like Chelsea had. Tuchel, how successful was Tuchel? And then all of a sudden they had a little poor run of results and he's out the door. What would we say? Is Ten Hag at risk of losing his job if there's a hiccup and we've got new ownership that's got new ideas? We got to remember the Glazers brought this guy in. This isn't there's always that risk, right? That with new ownership, they may not see eye to eye. Even with Richard Arnold, there's a potential that some of these guys that are doing well now, could be out the door.
I'm a firm believer that anybody but Ten Hag's job's at risk if the new ownership comes in. On the whole PSG running I believe as long as Ten Hag is coaching Manchester United, the team will be disciplined and won't be no fuck shit going around. Yeah, everybody gets fired by Ten Hag. I don't care. I really don't care.
I agree.
Really don't care.
I mean, and we don't really have a player at United like PSG does have. Like, I can't see Rashford pulling some. Yeah, I can't see Rashford or Bruno or any of those guys pulling some bullshit like that.
We wouldn't tolerate that. We wouldn't tolerate
exactly. And I agree with you, Casey. I think everybody but Ten Hag, if anybody is at risk of losing their job with these new owners coming in, I mean, all you have to do is look at the squad. Any potential owner that's going to come in and look at the squad and want to buy United is going to be watching the games and going, oh, Ten Hag, this guy's got him fucking playing.
I like that he got in his contract. He had the last say-so on every fucking player.
That's
and everything damn near.
That's how it should be.
I'm confident. I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Finally.
There he is.
We can hear you.
I thought listen, we should have converted the chances that we had, like we said, in our first we had to, but we owned them. We had a couple of scary moments. Referee for both sides, but definitely us bad calls again. They've got to do something about these refs, man. They've got they've got
bullshit.
We've got and in sport you have to accept the referee on the day, but they've got to evaluate these guys. They've got to have a monthly or a weekly, and I'm not saying we go but they have like VAR or something that looks at the referees and say, because these calls are fucking awful, and it's bad enough for you when you're champions, but if you're a team that that one decision can make or break you going up or down or something, it's not only heartbreaking, it's financially ruining.
Yeah.
Just the injuries alone for us has been bullshit. The injuries have been bullshit.
Look at what happened.
Guys are getting hurt for us.
Look what happened to Ericsson, man. For Andy Carroll,
Yeah, Andy Carroll wasn't out there playing football that day. That was like back when Vinnie Jones used to play. He's like, I ain't playing football today.
He was dressed like a rugby player, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he was.
All right, so what are your thoughts then, English, on the Leicester game coming up? Like they're in better form than they were, but we're in pretty good form right now ourselves.
I mean, listen, I think we're on fire. I mean, look, Rashford, he's just fucking amazing, isn't he? I mean, and everyone wants the ball. I mean, so you can't get enough of it going forward. You know, I think it's great. I just think, as always, you know, whenever anybody steps up to play Man United, they bring their A game. You know, they bring their double A game, and that's just how it is. It's the end of the season is really, really exciting. I think. I mean, Arsenal, I think they're running out of steam. City going into fifth gear, so we'll see. I wish our big lanky boy could do with his legs what Mushface can do with his. I mean, in a way, he was like he was playing pinball with that goal he scored on that weekend. I mean, it's like dink, 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 dink. You know, it's like what the fuck. But, hey, fair play. It was, but I thought it was the most exciting game of the season I've seen. You know, I think we should have won it, but New Camp, Old Trafford, I think we're going to own them. You know.
All right, so let's talk about. We got several bids in today. Today was bid day. The Glazers, they're lining up their ducks in a row, get their money, get them the fuck out. So some interesting ones like Google Alphabet put in a bid. The Trump organization, whatever the fuck that means, put in a bid.
Don't source that one. Don't source that one. You know who put that out there, right?
Who put that out there?
Just think who you read it from. Who showed it to you?
Right.
Don't use that, because I said, what was your source? And it's like, there's no source. Don't use that, what you're about to say. Trust me.
Okay.
Just don't go there. That's not been confirmed. Please don't say what you're about to say, because I saw the same thing you saw. I love you. Don't do it.
All right, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you.
Her.
So more than likely, it's going to be a Sheik, right? So English, he caught on late. What's your thoughts on potentially getting a Sheik in Manny?
Look, I just hope
another Sheik.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm always telling you guys, ulcers. I mean, obviously, it looks like this is a possibility. They've got the money, definitely. I don't know. I still think that maybe the powers that be may not may shut it down. When you, I mean, Sinatra, you're watching it right now, the Super League, you'll get more of an understanding of what the point I'm trying to come across with. It's. They talk about this. They're basically, it's like you go to meet your girlfriend's dad for the first time, right? They're telling you everything you want to hear, all the right. I'll have her home by 11 o'clock, and right. I won't touch it. If you're a businessman, I don't care if you're a billionaire, multimillionaire, you're just starting out, you're selling candy on the street when you're a kid. You want to make money, right? You want to make money, and this is not a guy who's vested in Manchester United. You might like Manchester United, you might love Manchester United, but he's not from Manchester. He's not vested into it emotionally for his family his whole life. He's buying a business, right? The business that he needs to be invested in to generate more money. But I'm telling you, he's looking at the long game, which is not making any money right now like PSG. But within 5 years, they will go for the Super League. And that's what the big boys are looking at. And you'll see when you the interesting part of that Super League, the documentary, that initially it was Barca, it was Real Madrid, Juventus, big money in Europe. They were attempting to do the Super League, and they just got spanked by PSG's money, right? But they're still chomping at the bit. They want the Super League. They want it. They want to contain it. They want to sports. They want to keep it in the top teams, and that's what I see coming. If the Saudis buy us, I'm curious what's going to happen with the supporters group. The percentages given to them, and how they're going to look at the transfer. I don't think that the debt free or not is going to be an issue, because look, I think Radcliffe's good for it. You know what I mean? He's not going to come in without debt though, because he doesn't have that money in his own pocket. These guys, it's like it's like an allowance, isn't it? So who knows? We'll see. But I do believe this attempt is for them to change their viewing by the rest of the world, how they're deemed by their the social activities are going over there, the human rights problems, because oil's not going to run out.
Washing,
right? Yeah. Because oil's not going to run out tomorrow, but it's going to run out eventually, right? It may not be in my lifetime, but they've got to start branching out to different things. And let's face it, at the end of the day, you don't become as wealthy as those people without making money. So they're not. It's not this whole we don't need to make a profit is bullshit. Anybody who tells you that, you want to run a mile. You don't want to be involved with people. I want to be involved with people who want to make money. If they want to make money, they want a big success, right? It's just, at some point, being the peasant, the working man, you want to hand it down a little bit, or at least you'd be left alone to be able to survive. But I want people who are hungry to invest in our club to make money. So if they don't want to make money, then they're idiots. And I don't want idiots owning Manchester United.
Yeah, we've had 17 years of that, 18 years of that.
Right.
So here's a thought. You bring up an interesting point about, if we get Saudi ownership, Qatari ownership, whatever it is, that they're still going to be interested in this Super League thing that we touched on a little bit earlier before you joined us. But so would the Glazers be interested in still owning like a minority, share in United? Because honestly, they were in on the Super League thing. That was Joel Glazer's baby, right? He was a chairman for the league. Like, I feel like even if they get $6 billion in the sale, is there still FOMO, fear of missing out? Like, are they still gonna want to, have a toe in the water, so to speak?
Well, I think if you look at the Glazers and how fucking greedy they are, then the answer is yes. Because that they're trying to fleece potential owners for, we heard, a couple months ago that rumors were of like 10 billion or something like that. And pretty much everybody on the planet was like, fuck off. The club's not worth 10 billion. There's no way you're getting fucking 10 billion. What the fuck is that number? And now it's more like, oh, you'll be lucky if you get 5, you'll probably get 4. But they're still asking for 6 or 7 or something like that. It's just an absolute piss take at this point.
Casey, I thought, Casey, what did you say that they were asking 7?
Yeah, their goal is 7. That's what they'll make the whole family happy.
At the end of the day, it's like anything in it. Something is worth what you'll pay for it. Right? If you
like art,
exactly. If you're prepared to pay X, Y, Z for something, then you're happy with it. That's what it's worth, right? But I'm curious because if the Saudi group, let's say they purchase us and they go over the 4 billion, and let's see how high they go, that'll tell you how much they really want us, right? And I guarantee you, if the more they put in, means the more they're going to want to pull out. And I'm not saying they want to milk us like the Glazers have, but they're still going to want to make money. So they're going to put their investment in. So they're going to try. They want to build the club, great, etc., etc. But I see on the horizon some stuff coming up for Manchester United that we're not going to like. That's what I'm saying.
I don't mind if the owners or investors or whoever they are want to make money. I absolutely get that. I think the issue is, and I'm not saying you don't think this as well, but is that put money into the fucking club too then. Like revamp the training ground, the stadium, whatever has been neglected these past 18 years, put into that. And then I don't give a shit if you make money.
If you pay 7 billion, you're still going to have to pay. That's going to be the cost to buy it. Then your investment in the club is still going to have to be the same. My only concern is that when this happens, and it's this group, then they are going to push us to Super League. Okay, that's within 5 years. I think they will, especially combined with PSG and that power of the two Manchester United and PSG in Europe. Super League's going to happen, and that's my concern. With Jim, I don't believe that he will push us towards the Super League, and that's my concern. It's not that they won't put money in. It's not they won't bring in exciting players. It's not that they won't redo the training, etc., etc. It's where we're going to go in the future with that, and it's going to take Manchester United, I think, to the bells and the whistles, the cheerleaders, the confetti, the fucking Super Bowl shit, and that's not football. I understand that the game evolves and all sports evolve. I get that, and the bigger the audience gets, they want to see a bit more. And a lot of people didn't grow up the way that we did watching football, but there's still once you start taking away the core of the game, you're going to change the game. It's not going to be the same. People won't follow it.
I hear all that.
With VAR, people are sick of VAR. Just that already. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, right? So,
you got to understand though. Man City says, and I'm not quoting these cunts to be supporting them. They said they're not in it to make money. We'll be double their worth.
Right.
Listen, the 2 richest teams in the world, if this deal goes through, is going to be Newcastle and Manchester United. The Premier League is strong. We don't need the Super League is Spain driven. Trust.
Yeah.
Spain, this is not even a thing yet. Don't worry about that. We got bigger problems at Manchester United. Who's going to be the director of football? The Super League is not something we should be worried about. I'm not trying to downgrade it, The worst thing that happened to PSG is they own us now. They're like, shut the fuck up. No. We're in the Premier League. This is the team they wanted. They didn't get into this team to be, we're trying to make money back. They've already put on record, we're not here to make money. So I'm not worried about it. I mean, I listen, the Super League is a bullshit idea, and everybody knows it. But all the English teams, fans protested, unified, and said, fuck that, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get to English's point. I think we're going to get to a point where even though the fans are protesting, even though, nobody likes it, they're going to do it anyway. And they're going to tell you, suck it up. And they're going to say, all right, then don't show up. Then don't get your match day tickets. Then don't get your, season tickets or whatever. Then don't come. And you know what? People are still going to show up.
Like everyone who campaigned against the World Cup, everyone said we should boycott the World Cup because of the human, rights atrocities, etc., etc. And there's even people that came out on TV who are commentators, etc., said it's awful what they're doing. But they still went because they still want to watch the game.
Well, the whole thing about the Super League, though, that really pissed me off when it first came about is it's like, I think the Super League is a stupid idea, but if we're in the Super League, I don't care as long as we don't get kicked out of the Premier League, which is what was going to happen. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, the Super League's a stupid idea. We don't need to do it. But
right now it's geared to replace the Champions League. It's supposed to replace the Champions League.
Right, but it's at the core of it is about money. It's about business. And the bottom line is that people who go to watch football will not be able to afford to go and watch football.
Right? Sure.
You have Liverpool United play every fucking game of the season, right? 48 games that Manchester United and Liverpool play. You'll fill Old Trafford and fucking Anfield every single weekend. But it won't be the same people. It won't be the core. It won't be what football's about. And that's the issue. And then the bottom line is, I don't care who you are. You can go on record saying we don't want to make money, but you've got to make money because if you don't make money, you lose money. If you lose money, your business closes and you can't reinvest money in it.
Right.
I think the only thing that's different is these Gulf state people. The only reason I don't think they're as concerned about the return on investment is they just burn fucking money. And they have such generational wealth that, like some of these sheiks and stuff, man, like their great granddaddy was like the first sheik that struck oil out in bumfuck Camel Land. And now the whole family's, been rolling in it for fucking ever. And they're burning their cigars and their hashish with $100 bills.
I don't think that anyone who makes money is not concerned about continuing.
I know, but it's like these guys have a fuck you wealth, and that's why all these American owners. It
might not be like next week or this week they want to make their profit.
No. But I see they see it on the horizon. I agree with that. I agree that it's on the horizon, and that's why. You got 67% when they did the poll of, who do United fans want to be the owner. That's why over half said they want Jim Ratcliffe because that is a model for fan ownership. There's a guy that's emotionally invested in the club where, to your point, Qatar, Apple, whoever the hell buys us, they're looking for the 20-year investment. Like they go – put in the money, revamp Old Trafford, 90,000 seat stadium. They're going to slap Google's name right on the top of it. Google Old Trafford or Google Stadium or whatever. New Carrington, you thought, it'd be in the Aon Training Center for 10 years with something. Man, that'll be the Chevrolet Center or whatever. That'll be all it is. It'll be commercialized to death. But the hope is that we can defeat this again. And I'm all for a revamping of the Champions League. I think if it went to a model where, you were playing, instead of groups, I think I brought this up in our other group chat, full table. Maybe you do 2 full tables in the Champions League. You're playing 30 games, guaranteed, 2 at the top of the table at the end of the year. That's the final. And I'm all for that. You drop the Nations League, you drop some of this other international football that doesn't really matter. Like club football is where it's at. International football only counts every 2 to 4 years, where there's a Euro, Copa America, World Cup, whatever. Outside of that, nobody gives a shit about international football. It's all club.
It's selling tickets, mate. That's what it is. It's selling merchandise, right? The amount of tickets, the amount of money they make in Asia alone, right? That's
exactly. Yeah, and you know
we started it. We started
and the players, you know, they're probably more invested for their club than they are for their nation at times. Not all of them, but at times, just because who's paying their salary on a regular basis? It ain't Spain, Real Madrid. You know, it's not England, Manchester United.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you brought up a good point that, you know, I personally, for whatever it's worth, would prefer Ratcliffe, but there's cons to that because his budget is limited, whereas with the Qataris, you know, supposedly their takeover would be debt free, which would be something that we haven't heard in a while.
And that's because they got fuck you money.
Yeah, so
that's what that is.
I think also though there should be, you know, if we talk about salary caps, right, to make it somewhat fair for other teams, right? You got 6 players playing for PSG that they can't never be able to afford to pay all their wages, you know, just off of the profits of football. You know, there should be some sort of limit to the ownership too, because listen, we're a top club, we attract the best players, but you know, if you're playing in the Premier League club football, you've got to kind of have it a little bit fair between the rest of the teams, right? That you got, we got 10 billion, you got dollar, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take likes of Bournemouth who are putting up a good show, coming up and down every year and hustling, and they're chasing the dream. But at some point, it's kind of like, well, you know, I don't want to buy the trophy, if I'm saying, you know what I mean? I love the football we play. I'm growing up watching it. I don't want to like the City boys, you know, just go in there and buy it. We got this, you know. So I think there's got to be some kind of regulation on that as well. I mean, Newcastle, you know, they're worth more than all the other clubs put together. Okay, fair enough, but there still needs to be a limit on how much is spent and how much the salary caps are, no matter how much you're worth as an ownership, to make it somewhat fair. I mean, I think they do that in sports here, right? Isn't that the case? Is there football here?
Well, I know one thing. Manchester United could spend, I'm just saying, this is what we have earned. $500 million a year of money and be under financial fair play by $100 million. Wow. Just think about that. Listen, I know what you all are saying about it, but listen, we have earned the right to spend. We've watched Arsenal outspend us. We've watched Everton outspend us because of the ownership was so bad.
I agree.
No, let us have 3 years of the splurging, Jason English. Let's have 3 years of splurging.
I agree.
Then we can change the rule. We earned the right to spend $500 million
I agree.
a year.
We should be able to spend. What I'm saying is that across the board, it should be for everybody. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, and
Jason, you saying it's here. They're here to make money. If the Premier League puts a limit on the ownership spending money and their wealth, they won't be the top dog anymore. Everybody be even Steven. Premier League is like, listen, we love having the 3 richest teams in the world in our league, period.
Right.
Yeah,
well, I'm just saying, they love it.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is that you got with salary caps, right? And how much you can spend on players like you do here, like you with your draft and how much you transfer, right? I mean, there has to be some point of that, because otherwise the top team's going to have all the best players, and that's why you can have a Super League, because you're not going to get any competition from the other clubs.
In baseball,
I do not want to see Aston Villa win the Premier League. I want to see Manchester United win it.
You want to see a good football,
don't you? In American, in basketball, in baseball, they've got what they call the luxury tax. So if you spend over your cap, you're the New York Yankees, you're the Phillies, you're whatever, the Dodgers, and you're, blowing it out, buying every player, Houston Astros, whatever the fuck, you're fined every year, and you have to pay that money as a fine.
You can still spend.
Yeah, you can spend it, but then you're spending more. You get penalized now because you've spent too much. Would you
If they had that in the Premier League, we would have to spend over $600 million a year to get 600 million pounds a year to get the luxury tax. We're cool.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, is like, you can have the cap or whatever, It's just some teams just aren't going to
Just
ever
say,
be able to get there.
if you got the cap, if you're only going to get fined to spend over it, if you don't care about the fine, you're going to spend over, right?
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
speed
Yeah.
ticket. If you don't care about the ticket, you're going to speed.
Yeah.
we've done about 20 minutes. So do you guys want to?
Let me say one more thing, and then you guys can close out or do whatever.
Okay.
The other thing is that the reason that we've been giving City shit all this time is the song "Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue." If it wasn't for oil money, you'd be in League Two.
Right.
It's a different situation for us, obviously. And to add to your point, Casey, we've earned the right. We potentially could have oil money coming in, but we had loads of history and success and stuff like that before. We were relevant before the oil money. Man City were not.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously there's going to be inevitable banter from opposing, the Manchester Derby could now be called the Petrol Derby, like we were joking about earlier, which I think is fucking hilarious.
Oil Cup. We're playing for the Oil Cup, baby.
Yeah. So that's the difference, I think, is that we were relevant, we were winning stuff, and we were on the map before this potential if we end up with Qatari owners or whoever. So
champions of the Persian Gulf. You'll never sing that.
Yeah. So obviously that's a not a cause for concern.
Be the Argonauts now. Then we could be Jason and the Argonauts.
So, anyways, that was just my point. Is that I for the people that are going to come out talking shit about, oh, you guys got oil money, you were talking shit on that for so long. It's like, yeah, but we were relevant before the oil money. You guys weren't, so fuck off.
They're going to talk shit about us regardless, mate.
Exactly.
But English, we earned the right though.
No,
yeah.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying that we haven't. I agree with you, Casey, 100%. And we definitely we've earned the right to redo our stadium and everything else. What I'm saying is as in the interest of fair play, there has to be some kind of level playing field. Okay. We're always going to rise above. We're always going to rise to the top because we are the best. But I'm just saying, right? That's the whole point of the FA Cup and everything else is, for everybody to get in there and the dreams come true. Because if you take the dreaming out of football, I don't care what you said, there'll be no football. Right?
Agreed.
I would love to see us win every game we play, but because we earn it, not because we bought it.
So can I ask you this? So if they said they're going to level it, do you want Burnley to have the same rights as us?
Same rights, yeah.
So Burnley should be level with us with like
no.
We shouldn't be able to pay more than Burnley from what we've done in our past.
No. He's saying if Burnley can get the means, they should have the same rights, but it shouldn't be like.
So we got the means. We got
the
means.
Yeah. Right. That's the difference. It's like we have the means. We have the means now. Burnley may get to the means in 3 or 4 years or something like that, but at least that option is there. Yeah, So I get
so
you.
We deserve to be. Burnley goes up, we should go here.
Right. I mean,
or go here. How about this? Like that. Burnley, us. They get to spend here. Burnley, you do this. You do this.
Right.
I
also think that every club has the desire and should have the desire, should have the opportunity to build its own history too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you join a regiment, you get the medals, the regiment's medals. So from World War I, World War II, those medals come to you because it's part of the regiment. But you go forward into battle and you earn your own medals, your own stories to tell. That's the history of football.
Yeah.
That's what makes football. The passion. That's what makes it. You have
the opportunity to win, to gather those medals. You have the same opportunity, equal opportunity league, I think is what he's saying.
She fell over.
Well, we can all agree that Leicester, a story like Leicester doesn't happen, in a super league or in the way,
right.
In the current structure. And the final point is, one, everybody needs to watch the Super League thing on Apple TV Plus. Get the free trial, whatever you got to do, Gibbet. Something. Get on that.
I'll watch that.
I'm going to finish it.
Where are you now? Episode 2?
I'm almost on this episode. I'm almost done with the first episode. So I'm going to finish that. But the last point on that is UEFA waited way too long to come up with a plan for this. They let it fester. And then they want to act like, oh, these guys did it behind our back. Bitch, you knew what the fuck they were doing. You knew. That's your mate. Your mate. Come on. All right.
Some cold ass shit in there, man.
Some bullshit. Anyway, 1878 Casuals. You know how we do it. We're brought to you by Moo Mia, Terrace Colt USA. We're going to Willie fucking O'Brien Sunday 0600, and we're gonna fuck Leicester. That's what we're gonna do, right?
I think we're
Ratcliffe, get your money right, mate. Come on, Ratcliffe. We're all cheering for you, mate. Let's have it. Glazers out. All right, boys. Good one.